only one asking him questions. So we got him in the back here, trying to make this high tech right now. 1 second, I want to get it to where I can see questions on YouTube, because we got YouTube, Periscope, we've got Instagram, Facebook Live. So here we go. I'm almost up and running here. All right, I know this is kind of last minute, but let's see. We already have some people asking questions. But before we get in the questions, y'all can post your questions up for Austin. We'll just talk about Austin history here. So you came in January, right? Well, no, was it January? No, when did you come to camp?
No, it was July.
July, yeah,
no,
in summer.
Beginning of August.
And I remember when you came into camp, you sprained your ankle right before you came to camp, right?
Yeah.
So
it was like 2 days right before I came down in a game.
Yeah, so I know you guys might not be able to hear him really well, so I'll just kind of repeat. If you can't hear him, let us know. So he sprained his ankle in camp, and kind of talk about, and if you can't be close to your mic, that's going to be the only challenge here is the mic issue. If you can, tell him, like, when you sprained your ankle in camp, what was your mindset at that point as you went through the camp?
Pretty much, I was just trying to do everything to the best of my ability. Like, it was hard to do the biomechanics off the mound, especially because of my drive foot that I had injured. So I couldn't really do that kind of stuff. And then, the med ball throws and the target throws, it was pretty much the same situation because it was my drive foot, so I couldn't really drive off of the King of the Hill very well without really bad pain in my leg.
Yeah, so unfortunately that was a wash, but you did stay and you got to learn a lot of stuff, didn't you? I mean, well, you went to the Ready Med and you came back with the crutches and a cast, and then you went.
Yeah.
But you were able to learn while you were here in that first camp, right?
Yeah, I pretty much just paid attention because I think, was it Albert was down there? I think.
Yeah, Albert.
He stayed for 2 of the days down there. And I was just pretty much observing and watching the form and just trying to get it down before I went back home.
Yeah. So when you left camp in July, did I gun you in that camp or was it the next camp? Yeah, I did. I got you in that camp.
It was the next camp.
Okay. And then you went home and you weren't able to do a lot of stuff. So how long did it take until you could really get into the program after the first camp?
Well, it was probably 2 to 3 weeks before I was 100% healthy.
Okay, and then you started doing the program.
I was able to do stuff still. I was just trying to do the movements that I could that weren't hurting it. So I was maybe doing 60% of the program.
Okay, so how long until you could really get into full tilt do the program? Like what month do you think where you really started to do the program completely?
It was probably towards the end of August.
So the end of August.
September.
So the end of August, you started the 3x pitching velocity program, and up till today, or when did that last video of you hitting 90? But you said you had been up to 91. When was that? When did that go off?
That was 2 weekends ago.
Okay, so 2 weekends ago you got up to 91. So we had you at 83 in camp, right?
Yeah.
And then 91 recently, so really good gains for you. And breaking 90 is not an easy feat. And you even came back for a reevaluation in the process because you were really frustrated. Because you had good numbers. It was just you trying to put it together. But before we get there, let's reverse back now. So everybody knows who you are. You made big gains with the program. You're still going, obviously. Talk about why did you reach out and why did you want to come to a 3x velocity camp in the first place?
So, I think it was sophomore year, sophomore off season. I did a weighted ball program, and I saw I gained 6 or 7 miles per hour, but I had a little bit of arm pain during the season, and it wasn't really there wasn't any weightlifting at all. It was strictly the plyo ball work. So then I had my pitching coach was buddies with a weightlifting coach, so I got a program from him to do the weightlifting. But it wasn't really a complete program because I was kind of having to go to this person, then this person, then this person for each individual thing. And then I think freshman year of high school, I did the 2X program for outfield, and I got familiar with the 3X kind of just being around it from doing the 2X. And I had remembered that I felt pretty strong doing the 2X, especially because of the weightlifting. So then when I got into pitching, I decided to check out the 3X program, and then we started getting serious about it, and that's when we came down for camp.
All right, so cool. So you did the 2X program before coming in this. So when did you start the 2X program exactly?
That was freshman year of high school, and then I did that through the freshman off season leading up to my sophomore year.
And now, what are you right now? What are you? You're in college, right?
No, I'm a senior.
Oh, you're a senior. You haven't gotten college yet. Okay, so
yeah.
Freshman year. So did you see a lot of gains in the 2X program, specifically with all the lifting and everything?
Yeah, I think I put on like 10 to 15 pounds and like 5 or 6 miles an hour on my throws in the outfield.
Cool. I mean, because you came in with really, really good numbers. So it's good to hear you were doing the 2X program before as well. So when you came into the camp, I should pull it up now. Do you remember your numbers? I remember you had a 31-inch vertical jump at camp. I think your 10-yard, I'm trying to pull it up right now, your 10-yard was like what was it, a 1? Let's see what it was at camp. I got it right here.
I think on the reevaluation it was like a 145 or 146.
All right, so guys, I'm going to TopVelocity.club, and you can pull up his data there under the 2018 profiles. You were at the camp on 12/15. 2009. That was the reevaluation. So I had both your data, I think, on that. So we had on your first camp 30 vertical jump. You had a 114-inch broad jump, which is over 9 feet. You had a 1.55 10-yard, which is a major league average. You had, but this was your issues. Your grip strength was weak, 100 grip. Your total body strength was 350. I think that was the things we were talking about. Your upper body strength was still down, and you hit an 83 in that camp. And then you came back for the reevaluation. So the first camp was 721. You came back for the reevaluation in 12/15. And then we saw improvements. We saw you go up to 34-inch vertical jump. We saw you get to almost a 10-foot broad. You hit a 146 10-yard sprint, which is insane. And we even did some rotational power. You had a lot of good rotational power, and you were at 85, so you went up a couple miles an hour, but you were still frustrated. So talk about when you came to that reevaluation, the frustration you had, and what changed after that reevaluation.
So leading up to there, I remember the biggest issue I had was that my front leg would fly open really early. I wouldn't even get into like back leg drive, and my front leg would already be opening.
So you weren't using that great leg power that you had, right?
But after the camp, when I came back home, I really focused on driving out of my back leg and sitting into it, and then getting down the mound. So I did a lot of mirror work, just in the mirror, just sitting on my back leg and keeping my front leg closed as long as I could. And after I did that, and then, I think I did the level 2 program for like 2 months after that. And that was when I like made huge gains in the weight room. Because my squat went up to like 400. My bench was at, I think, 270. And then on cleans, I got like 240, 250.
Well, that's good to know. So level 2 was a big jump for you.
Yeah. And then that was when my med ball throws and my target throws were at their highest as well. I think I hit 85, 86 on my separation throws, and then I got 43 on my med ball throws.
So that's awesome. So you were already, at that point, throwing harder in your separation throws than you were on the mound, probably.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't been on the mound. I hadn't been gunned on the mound. I was kind of just going in and doing the throwing off of the mound and not gunning it. And I hit 85 out of the separation throws, and then the next weekend was when I went to go throw on the mound for the first time, and I was like, well, I mean, if I'm throwing 85 out of a separation throw, maybe I'll be like 88 today, and then I get up on the mound, and my coach is like, first pitch you just threw was 91, and I was like, no way.
That's awesome. So what was it like, getting to that level? What's it like getting to a 90-mile-an-hour level?
I don't really know how to describe it. Like when he told me that I hit 91, like I was ecstatic. I was like, I didn't know what to say. And it didn't even feel like I had thrown the ball as hard as I could. You know, it was just everything that I had worked for, and you know, the mechanics and the strength that I built, the mobility, all that tied into it, and it was just, you know, kind of effortless.
Great. Now it's starting to rain here, so if y'all aren't picking up on them, let me know. So what are some key things that, man, can you hear the rain?
Yeah.
Dude, it's coming down. Maybe it'll cool up. Hopefully they can still hear you. Guess speak loud. What are some key things that you feel like really helped in the programming altogether? Like, what are some key things, like some of the key lifts, some of the key stuff that you feel like, I mean, you just named a lot of the mechanics that were really big, but what are some of the other key things that really, really made a difference for you?
I think the power cleans definitely played like an important role in it. I remember when I had finished the level 1 and I was like 85, 86 on the mound, my power clean was like at 225, 230. And it was like I was kind of slow through it. Like I wasn't really explosive when I got to the top. And I had somebody look at my form and they tweaked a few things, and like a week later I put on like 20 pounds onto my power clean, and I was like a lot more explosive out of it, especially at the start and the end. So I felt a lot more explosive out of there. I mean, everything that, like the dumbbell bench, like the incline, definitely helped to build my upper body strength, because both my grip and upper body strength had gone up tremendously since the start of the program.
Yeah, I think that was a big thing for you, getting that upper body strength, because you were fast, you were explosive with your lower half. It was really trying to get the upper body to complement that. Don't you think that helped when your upper body strength went up?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's see if we got any questions here. Someone asked, are you a senior in high school? Yeah, we clarified you're a senior in high school. And how old are you specifically, somebody asked?
I'm 18.
So 18 years old. How long is a typical workout at TopVelocity? Why don't you tell them what was the length of your typical workouts?
Well, depending on the day, like the Fridays, I remember there was throwing, there was the weightlifting, and then there was the agility.
Yeah, that's your longest day, your Friday.
Yeah, that was usually the longest workout of the day.
So, how long would that day take you?
It was maybe 2.5 hours total, but I didn't do it all at once. I kind of spread it out. So like I'd go and do my throwing first, and that was like maybe 45 minutes to an hour, and then I would like come home, and then I would get changed, and then like eat, and then I would go do my lifting, which would take like another hour, and then I would do the speed and agility, which is like 15-20 minutes.
And that level 2 has even more work. Did you see when you got into level 2, it took even more time? Because it's more volume. So we're looking at, close to 3 hours a day on longest. Now that's you crushing it and going through it quick. If you add in a lot of mobility work, any extra drills, you're getting 4 or 5 hours a day if you wanted to. Let's see.
Yeah, and I would do like a warm up, and then I would really hammer the mobility after when I got home.
Perfect. I'm trying to see what else we got. How about here? We're going to look on Instagram. Where's my facility located? We're in Louisiana, which Austin's been down here twice. Austin, where are you located? I forgot.
Columbus, Ohio.
You're from Columbus, Ohio. So that was a long trek for you coming down here twice for 2 camps, right?
Yeah.
Are you happy you came down the second time?
Yeah, I think that it was very beneficial, especially since I got to do my biomechanics the second time, because I hadn't gotten that done the first time.
So really you come in. So you come in the second time really because the first time you came in injured, so the second time kind of allowed you to get a lot of the work in you couldn't get in. But it was a good reevaluation, don't you think? Coming back and kind of hearing it again, and you've had some training in between. It's exciting to see where you are and reevaluate and make improvements and then go again, right? Let's see. I'm looking on Instagram, see if anybody's got any questions for you on Instagram. So guys, if y'all have any questions for Austin, that's why we did it live. So you guys can ask more questions about what he did in his training, coming in here at 83 miles an hour, even though you were saying you were on the 2X program before you came into here, and then getting up to 91, just recently getting to 91 after coming through basically down here twice. If anybody has any questions for him. It says, was that dude in my camp? Jake, do you remember Jake Schaefer in your camp? I think he was. Jake's asking. I think you were in camp with Jake the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, you got hurt and you went off to Ready Med, so you didn't get to hang out too much. Let's see. Trying to weed through all this to see if we got any good questions for you. How far do you guys go when you throw? Let's talk about that. What's it like being in a drill-based throwing program as opposed to a traditional-based like distance throwing program or weighted ball program? What's the difference being in these drills working on mechanics as opposed to what more conventional baseball does?
So, I think when we like at your facility, the like King of the Hill is maybe like what 30, 40 feet from the target.
45 feet, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not really as much as focusing on like, you're trying to get it in the strike zone or in a specific area. It's more focusing on, your mechanics and trying to get as much use out of your body as possible.
So do you like that? Do you like being in a drill-based mechanical throwing program, or just out there throwing and increasing your effort and your distance?
Yeah, no, I definitely think the drills are a lot better because you're able to focus on each individual portion. Like with the target separation throws, you're really able to focus on your lower body drive and keeping your front leg closed, especially on like the lateral drills.
And then how your body interacts with the lower body through separation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
So I mean, but being a baseball player this long, there's a big difference here, right? This drill-based, mechanics-driven approach is very different than what you probably experience in most of the leagues and organizations you played with, right?
Yeah.
Would you say it's the better way, or not? What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, most of the other programs I did, it's pretty much you just take the ball and like you run it, sprint, and throw it into a net as hard as you can.
Right. So it doesn't really emphasize a lot of the intricacies of this. And how hard is it when you really want to get to 90? I mean, isn't the mechanics a big part of it when you start putting it all together?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can have like insane numbers in the weight room. Your body weight can be perfect. Your broad jump, your vertical jump, your sprint can all be there. But if you have bad mechanics, your strength isn't going to be able to get you there alone. You have to have the strength and the mechanics.
Yeah, because that allows you to harness it. But you still need all that athleticism as the foundation, but that's not enough, is what you're saying, right? You still got to apply it through the mechanics. And don't you think that's where a lot of people probably get frustrated and lazy, is they don't apply it through the mechanics?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's my experience with a lot of guys doing this. So the guy said, did you long toss before you came to TopVelocity?
Yes and no. I didn't do the traditional like throw it as hard as you can for like the furthest distance possible. I think it was called like the Jaeger long toss thing, where it's you're just kind of tossing it, getting some air on it. You're not trying to throw it as hard as you can for a super long distance. And then, once you bring it in and you get to maybe like 100 feet, 90 feet, then you're starting to put a little bit of zip on it. But it's nothing where, you're trying to throw the ball 300 feet as hard as you can.
Good. Guy asked, were the changes, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but he says, were the changes in help very gradual? Okay, I get it now. Or were there a few breakthroughs, meaning like, was it a slow build to 91, or were these jumps in between?
It was definitely a slow build. I mean, it only took one off season to get there, but it was a ton of work that I had to put in. The training is 4 or 5 days a week for, I think I did it for 5 months. And it's not like an easy thing to do. You really have to be committed to the program and do everything in order to get to there.
And you can't stop, right?
No.
Now you have to keep going.
As soon as you stop, you'll lose it.
Right, exactly. It's like an Olympic athlete, right? You're training your whole life just to get on in the main stage and show off what you can do. You got to keep that mentality. Like, I got to keep working on this. If I want to show this off to people and I want people to see what I can do, I got to keep working on this.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. How does your body type play into what your mechanics are? That's a good question for you. So how much of your body were you battling? Because I know we had some mobility things we had to overcome. So how much did you have to really, really work with or not work with? Like, what were the pros and cons of your own body trying to do this?
So when I started the program, what was I at down at camp? Like 170, 171?
171.
Yeah. So I was like not very strong when I came down to camp, and I was also I didn't have a lot of mass on me. And I think that played a part of the role in like my mechanics, just because, not only did I have bad mechanics, but I didn't really have the muscle or the strength behind it to help me increase my velo at all. So then, like, through, the weightlifting and the nutrition, I was able to put on, I think I weighed in at like 195 max this off season, and I've lost a few. So I'm at like 189, 190 right now.
Yeah, so that's a good jump. I mean, that's a good 20.
It's not like.
Yeah, I was saying that's a good 20 pounds of more than likely muscle that you've gained in the process.
Yeah.
And that's really helped you use your body better, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
How can you prove? Okay, I don't want to do that one. Do you feel that your control and off speed improved after going through the program? Good question.
So, when I was working on my mechanics, I think the control portion definitely plays into it. Because if you're going to have good mechanics and you're going to be able to repeat something over and over again, you're going to be precise. But if I have mechanics where everything I'm throwing is high, and I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm not going to change it, I'm going to continue to throw everything high. But if I'm able to get my mechanics to where my release point, my arm slot, my glove tuck, I'm getting to the same release point every time, and it's relatively in the strike zone, I'm going to stay around the strike zone if I keep my mechanics the same.
So,
as far as like my off speed, the off speed that I have thrown so far, I feel like my spin rate on my curveball has increased like tremendously. I've thrown 2 bullpens this off season, and I get really, really late sharp break on my curveball, and it doesn't break till like 5 feet in front of the plate.
All right, so it's raining. Probably not everybody's hearing this, but so Austin's saying mechanically, as he learned where his release point was, and as he worked on consistently finding that release point, that helped him to be more accurate and improve his command and control. And that's just time, right? That takes reps, and that takes time to get there. Sorry, it's really coming down. And then the other thing he said was, because at 83 miles an hour to 91 miles an hour, you get a spin rate increase. Velocity has a correlation to spin rate. And also too, with the mechanical change, you could have had an added spin rate improvement on some mechanical change. So he's saying that through that increase in velocity and the spin rate increase, he's seeing sharper breaks specifically on his breaking ball, which is a direct result to the program, to enhancing performance. It's like a monsoon here right now.
I can tell.
It's like showing down. If the roof wasn't here, it would just be like a waterfall. Let me see one more question or a couple more questions. If we can, I might have to just be your interpreter. How do you know if you have enough mobility? It's something we measure. It's something Austin we measured when he was here. and we basically showed him where he needed to be based on elite ranges, and he applied that through his training. Any simple drills to cues with extension? Okay. All right, I think that's going to end it. It's getting too loud. What would be your last words if we can get anybody to hear it? What's your last words on the program, and how about just talk to those who are interested in this program or kind of in the same place you were, and that are trying to go through all this information online that tells them many different things. What would you say to them about this program, about what it takes, or just how could you help them if they're kind of in the same place you were before you came here?
Yeah, so the program, it's really tough. It beat me up. There were some days where I was like, man, this really sucks, and I don't know if I'm going to go through my workouts. But, I just kept thinking about what I wanted, and I wanted to get to 90, and I just kept pushing through every single workout and, going, maybe doing an extra rep or some more weight here and there just to keep pushing myself and get to that 90 mark. Well, like I said on that one comment on Instagram that you saw, that, it's a whole collection of everything. You got to do the nutrition, you got to do the weightlifting, the med ball throws, the target throws, the mobility. It all ties in together, and you got to be able to get to the elite or the the pro level marks if you want to be able to get there.
Right. So you just got to understand. Basically, to reiterate, you got to really understand how this works, and you got to put that in your mindset of what you want to achieve, and then every day, that's your goal. Is you have to get there, right? And there's no falling short, is there? You got to get there as best you can.
Yeah, you definitely can't cut corners.
Right, no cutting corners. So what do you say for the last thing? Because this happens a lot, and I'm sure there's a lot on here. But with the haters, right? When you have success, right? When you have success, haters come. Why do you think haters come when you have success?
There's people out there that don't want to work for it, and when they see other people succeeding, they get jealous.
Yeah, because you're proving.
Like, why can't I have that?
Right. Well, because you're proving that they're not working hard enough, or that they're not working smart enough, or that maybe they don't have what you have. So it's a bit of a jealousy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is normal. We all experience the ego. The ego telling us that. Like the little kid in us going, why can't I have that? I want that, right? I mean, that's normal. It's just, it's just ridiculous when guys let it manifest into Twitter debates or Instagram comments, right? But that just comes with the trade. So how are you going to handle the haters as you keep having success in life?
If success continues, there's always going to be people that hate on other people being successful, and you just got to live in your moment. Just ignore them and listen to the positives. That you're doing what you dreamt of doing, and you're living it out. And those are the people that should actually fuel you, because they're tearing you down, telling you this and that, and you're like, you just got to ignore it and be better than that, pretty much.
Yeah, keep leading by example. I think, if anything, a hater's showing you that what you're doing is working. And the guys who support you are the ones that you should support as well. We should support everybody. But you're right. Try to find the positiveness in the world of the internet, or the world of social interaction, right? Well, cool, man. Well, let's see. I got another one here. What is the best way to optimize sleep and enhance recovery? So he's asking about sleep and stuff. How did you do with your sleep, and how did you do with nutrition?
So with the nutrition, when I had first came down to you guys, I was maybe eating like 2,000 calories a day, and it wasn't enough for me. Because my metabolism is super high, so I burn off stuff really quick. And I increased that. When I came down the second time, I was getting like 5,000 calories, and I put on like 5 or 6 pounds. And when I came back, I bumped it up to like 8 or 9 meals a day, pretty much at 7,000 calories.
Wow.
And that's when I saw my big gains in weight.
And you threw up, right?
Yeah.
7,000. Well, I think that's huge. I think the guys who can have a good nutritional plan with a good, training program like this, and it's what we offer you both. It's so key. Like, there's no way you can do this and not eat well. And also too, the added weight that you put on had a big impact on your velocity increase, dude. So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this. I think that's all the questions. If you guys want to reach out to Austin, he's on Instagram. It's AU_Erdely, right?
Yeah.
AU_Erdely on Instagram. Don't send him any hate. He's getting enough of that. Reach out to him. I mean, you're cool with them DMing you and asking you questions, right?
Yeah, that's totally fine.
All right, good. And now we want to see you get to 95.
I'll have to come down there.
Yeah, we'd love it, dude. All right, that's your next goal. We're getting you to 95. Keep it up. Keep working hard. Let me know what you need. You still got level 3, and then you can come down and get on the hatch system here.
Sounds good.
All right, dude. Well, thanks for doing this. It turned out pretty cool.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Definitely, dude. And keep it up, and we'll see you soon.
Sounds good.